and then started wearing it every day. It felt comfortable, like a firm hug, not a straitjacket. Binding made me feel comfortable enough to do other things, like dressing a bit more femme, or wearing makeup, or wearing a quirky earring. Things that express my gender and make me happy. I also joined my school's Frisbee team, which was very queer, very trans. We were all binding, running around, and struggling to breathe. I'd get really hot, really short of breath, a lot of chafing. But I really wanted to bind in this very queer space, even though it was a struggle. I ended up going to a physical therapist for some arm pain, swelling, and recurring numbness in my hands. The therapist asked me to hold my hands in the air for 30 seconds. I did it, but my hands turned purple and didn't come back for a long time. That shook me up. I showed my friends on the team, but if anything, they just seemed impressed. It was like the more my body hurt while playing, the more I was perceived as trans by my team. That felt really shitty. Pain isn't what being trans means to me. Since then, I take at least one day off from binding a week and do the loosening exercises from my therapist to improve my circulation. I look at my schedule and think, which days do I want to bind? And when can I take breaks? When playing Frisbee, I'll go with just a sports bra now, so I can actually get the oxygen I need when I'm running around. I hope that's making space for some of my other teammates to wear a sports bra if they're struggling with their binders during exercise. I'm never going to pass in the traditional sense, because I have a body type which reads as AFAB. So even with binding, I'm never gonna read as assigned male. But that's not necessarily my goal. My goal is to not be read instantly as male or female, which is much harder than people think. When it's just me and my partner at home, I'm comfortable enough that I don't need to use anything. He's trans too, and he sees me for who I am, even on days I can't bind. I mostly bind on dress-up days or more mask days. I'm actually less aware of my chest without a binder than with a binder, as long as I'm around people who affirm me. There are times that having to put on a binder and think about it can also be dysphoric. There's validation that comes from binding, but also freedom that comes from not binding. The binder doesn't make me feel free. It just makes me feel a little more in control of how people perceive me. I've gotten better at recognizing when my body tells me it's struggling, when I get a headache or tingling in my hands, and change how I'm binding if I need to. It's almost like my body tells me when it's not safe. My rule for myself is, as long as I'm listening to my body and I'm aware of the choices that I'm making, that's what I consider to be healthy.
B. 30 years old. He, him. I remember the first time I tried binding. I wasn't sure how it was going to feel, but then I was like, oh shit, this is fantastic. My first few years of binding really affirmed who I was, helped me navigate and diminish some of the dysphoria, and helped me learn to love myself as a trans man. It made me realize I want to get top surgery eventually. I started presenting male at work before I was on T, and that made binding feel even more important. No one was gendering me correctly, and I was letting it slide. I felt like I was just confusing everyone. Binding helped me feel more comfortable reminding people about my name and pronouns. I started to grow a lot of body hair right away when I started T. That helped with the misgendering. But I worried I was going to look weird, unattractive, until I could get top surgery. I happened to see a porn star who hadn't had surgery.